Is Ms. DB, and in this video I want to go over a few problems from the Solve for a Variable worksheet. Now there's already a video in your lesson about the first part of the worksheet, which is solving equations for a variable. So be sure you watch that video. I do several of these problems in that video and explain how to do them. The ones that I wanted to discuss a little bit more was the ones towards the end, which are 16, 17, and 18, where you have to take a formula, solve it for a particular variable, and then answer a question using your new formula. So number 16 is very close to one that's already in your section. So I'm going to look at either 17 or 18. Let's see. Let's do number 17 because it involves a square root. So number 17 says, if the area of a circle is 36 pi centimeters squared, what is the radius? So there's three parts to this. Question A says to write the formula for area of a circle down from your text. So you'd look back in this section of your book, or maybe you have this memorized from geometry. The formula for area of a circle, you might remember this, is that the area of a circle is equal to pi times the radius squared. Now, if you're typing, can I type without? Yes, I can. You can write pi for pi. If you want a times sign, you can use the star key, which is shift and then 8. And then to make the squared symbol, you use this. Oh, my area formula is on top of it, isn't it? Move that up. I'm trying to make the r squared here. So that symbol right here means that there is going to be an exponent. So area equals pi r squared. You can type it instead of writing it by hand like I was doing. Now I want to solve this formula for r. Because I want it to be, what is the radius? I want it r equals instead of a equals. So here's what we got. We got area equals pi times r squared. R is the variable that I want to find, that I want by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by what's being multiplied by the radius, by the radius, which is pi. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by pi. So I would have now area over pi equals r squared. But I don't want r squared, I just want r. So there's one more step, which is to undo the squared, undo taking to the power of 2. I would take the square root of both sides. So now I know that r is equal to, because when you take the square root of a squared variable, you'll just get the variable by itself. So now I have r equals the square root of a over pi. Now some of you who are typing your answers might say, I don't know how I'm supposed to write that on here. So here's how I would write that. I would write that r is equal to the square root. I usually use the abbreviation SQRT, and then in parentheses, because I want the square root of this fraction coming up, area divided by, again, I'm just going to use pi for pi. Now there is an insert symbols button where you could find pi, or I could copy and paste this pi if I wanted to use pi instead of pi, if I wanted to use the actual symbol, and that's fine too. Okay, now I'm going to use my new formula from what I just wrote, from problem B, to find the radius if the area is 36 pi. So I am going to write my formula down again. I'll write it in the typed form. Area divided by, I'll just put pi back. Except now I'm going to replace a with 36 pi. And I need to then, oops, I made a mistake. This is supposed to be r is equal to. So my a goes over here, 36 pi, and it's divided by pi. So let's write that out in with my pen tool here. I'd have r equals the square root of 36 pi divided by pi. Well, if you have pi being multiplied by 36 divided by pi, you can cancel those out. So I'm really just left with r equals the square root of 36. Well, what is the square root of 36? The square root of 36 is just 6. So this just means that r is equal to 6, and you have solved the problem. And then number 18 is going to be very similar. You're going to write the formula for area of a trapezoid. You can look this up. It's 1/2 times the height, and then you add the bases together. I need my lowercase 1 plus B2. And then I'll close my parentheses. That's what we're starting with for our formula for area of a trapezoid. If we're going to solve that formula for B2, here's B2, B sub 2 right there, we need to get rid of all this other stuff. So the first thing that I would do is I'd say, well, I have 1/2 multiplied by this whole side. I could undo multiplying by 1/2 by multiplying both sides by 2. So now I would have 2a equals, now why did I do that? I did that because 1/2 times 2 is the same as 1. So the 1/2 cancels with the 2, and I'm left with h times b1 plus b2. That's a plus sign there. I'm getting closer to getting b2 by itself, but not quite there yet. Next thing that you want to do is get rid of this h times this quantity that's being b1 plus b2. So to get rid of h times something, you would divide by h. So now I have 2a over h is equal to, just, these would cancel, just the b1, don't need the parentheses anymore, plus b2, the two bases added together. And I'm trying to solve for b sub 2, so all that needs to happen next is we need to subtract the b sub 1 from both sides. So what we're left with now is 2a divided by h, and then subtract b sub 1, that will be equal to your b sub 2. Now for part C, which you still have to do, you need to plug in the area is 72, the height down here is 8, and b sub 1 here is 6. So you plug in all those parts and simplify what you have, and then you'll be left with b sub 2. Now I decided to make 19 and 20 optional, and number 21 as well. So they're challenge questions. You don't have to do these. You can earn maybe 1 extra point if you do them. Or next week we'll start talking about honors options. So those of you who are thinking about that want to give these ones a try, because these are similar to what honors questions will look like. All right, thank you very much. I hope that helps out. If you need more help, let me know. Thank you.